And yay. Okay, so today we're going to continue on what we talked about last week. And we are really in the middle of an incredible section inside of the course. We're in the text. We are looking at chapter 27. The title of it is the Healing of the Dream. And once you become more aware of what this spiritual journey is about, you become to realize that we're inside of a dream. That means God is imagining us and we are having an experience no different than when we are asleep at night. And there are little people in our head, and there are mountains that we climb, and there are valleys that we run through, and there are tigers chasing us, and we go to all kinds of places. Just as those people in our dream and the things in our dream feel real while we're sleeping, but they're just happening in consciousness. It's just energy dancing and imagination being activated by our desire to have an experience. No different than the dreaming in our head, are we a dream in the head of God, the mind of God? God doesn't have a head, physical head. Just as we, like the Course says, we're not bodies, we are free. So we imagine our life experience just as God is imagining us within it. So we're always going to be safe in the mind of God, as the Course has taught us. But we have to understand what the dream is all about, because if we don't understand the dream, we get caught up in it and turn it into a nightmare. And the way the dream turns into a nightmare is very simple. We forget who we are and we pretend to be what we're not. That's all that's happening here. We are made in the image of God. In the image, we have been imagined by the greatest magician ever, so that we can then imagine, become magicians, create something out of nothing. We pull it out of our asses, out of nothing. Mm-hmm. And we get so caught up in thinking that what we have imagined is what is real, that for that to be real, we create a veil. We put a veil over our eyes. This is a veil of forgetfulness. On one side, we forget that we're here. On the other side, we pretend that what is out there is real. So it's all part of the power that we have. We have a great superpower, and it's the superpower to create whatever we want to experience, meaning we cause what we experience. Early on in the journey, when the outside appears real and it seems like it has power, mom and dad have power over me, the church has power over me, the government has power over me, the doctor has more information than I do, knows more, the teacher knows more, the boss knows more. We really think the outside has all the power because we forgot that the power is in our mind to project that experience. Humanity is in the process of waking up from that illusion that the power is outside of us. In chapter 27 is saying the healing of the dream. We have to heal our minds. And when we heal our minds, as within, so without, we bring healing into the dream. We're really healing in the dream. It's like you're having a nightmare in the middle of the night, and some of you might have seen the movie Inception, and there is another dream, somebody is deciding we're going to insert, they're going to put into our dream a shift. We're going to change it, and instead of you appearing to think everybody's separate and has power over you, comes the teachings, no, the power is in you. Jesus was an inception into our dream. Buddha was an inception into our dream. Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., those were inceptions into our dream. They inserted themselves into our dream to bring to us truths that over millennia, thousands of years, have been little by little accepted by humanity. Little by little, at first we thought, oh, these weird people saying these things that don't make sense. Well, it didn't make sense to a mind that was conditioned into the dream. So they were telling us, giving us hints of how to escape the dream, how to awaken in the dream. If we are fully, completely awake, completely awake, and we know this is a dream, we wouldn't be here. We would be where Jesus is and Buddha are. We would be on the other side of the veil. We would be assisting those who are in this dream. The Course in Miracles says that the best that we can do while we are in physical form and believe that this is real is to shift from a nightmare where the ego runs everything into co-creating a happy dream where we are receiving the guidance directly from God because we're made in the image of the Creator. So it's like the Creator is giving us the information on how to undo the dream. But before we leave the dream of separation, we must, it's just, these are just the steps. You must have an experience of waking up inside the dream and seeing how powerful we are by changing the outcome of the dream. Where the ego says, well, I have no power over the outcome. The world is this way. Things are what they are. The government has the power. Military is going to tell me what to do. They are in charge. We go through what is called a process of transformation. Joseph Campbell called it the hero's journey. So many, I call it the journey from conception to enlightenment. The phases that we have to go through are all the exact same ones. I was looking one time at one of the lessons in A Course in Miracles, and it breaks down those stages, those phases exactly the same way. So whether it comes through me, through Joseph Campbell, through Buddha, the truth that is coming to the planet is coming to us so that we can shift from the outside having power over us, heal ourselves from all of the ways that we got conditioned into believing we're disempowered. We have to heal what mother, father, teacher, preacher, government taught us. We have to decide that what they said is their stuff and it did not have to affect who we are. So we are purifying our minds from accepting their information as the misinformation that has had us think we are less than what we are. There was an inversion through the process of indoctrination that went from power being in here and we projected this world so we could experience it because it's fun. It's fun to take on physical form when you're non-physical spirit. Because we were clear before we incarnated that we were coming in to create an experience, but with misinformation, there was an inversion. It got turned upside down. They became the power because we began to believe that that is so. We had unconscious parents who didn't know any different. And I'm going to say there were some people that were consciously aware of how to program the mind control. They knew what they were doing. They just they were not awake. They cannot be awake. They were just dreaming a dream where they had power over us. So they were continuing to suck us into their dream. And because we didn't stand firm in our awakened state, we went into their dream. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad thing. It's an experience. But those of us who are bored with the dream of conquering and the dream of somebody having power over me are having the opportunity, if we choose to co-create a happy dream where all of us are equally as powerful. And look, this process takes a long time. 2,000 years ago, Jesus told us God's not outside, the kingdom of heaven is within. Get along, love your neighbor, love yourself, and you'll have peace on earth. We will experience heaven on earth. 2,000 years ago, and there were teachers before him, and we didn't listen. 250 years or so ago, we had our founding fathers wrote it into the Constitution. They were inspired by the same truth that Jesus shared, that Buddha shared, that Gandhi shared, that so many have been bringing onto the planet. So the same truth came through the Constitution. All of it is attempting to insert into our mind the truth that has a frequency. As you can see from this chart, you're empowered with awareness when you trust that the truth is what vibrates at a higher frequency. And it always has the exact same characteristics for everybody. That's how you know truth. It's the same for everybody. Lies have different, there's a difference for this lie for this one is okay, but not for this one. Double standards are the frequency of the ego. That's the frequency of the nightmare, double standards, because you're making something real that is not. So you're operating in double standards. Here, you're making real what is real, which is consistent for everybody. So we are going to be reading, continuing our reading inside of chapter 27. We are in section number 7, the dreamer of the dream. We have got to get clear that we are the dreamer of the dream, not as a bad thing. Oh my God, I've been creating this horrible thing. That would be to become a victim. We've been there, done that. We're done with that, right? Everybody who's here is done with that. We are looking at ourselves as the dreamer of the dream because it's a good thing. It's returning the power to us. It's aligning us with our ability to access truth directly. We don't need it to come to us from the outside. You won't need it to come from the Course in Miracles, from anybody, from me. You won't need it. But until we are all certain and grounded in that truth, and God knows I'm not fully grounded in that truth yet. That's why I still go to the teachers that I go to hear what resonates with that higher frequency so that I can hold myself accountable to remain there. I check in. Today, I had the opportunity to drop down and felt the discord in that frequency. I forgave myself, went back to the teachings of truth, and then I readjust myself. I shift and lift and I realign myself. It's a very simple process for me because I know it's all happening in me. If I am experiencing a nightmare, I created it. So if I don't like the nightmare, let me create a happy dream. It's all in me. There is nobody that I can blame. Now, can I speak to players in the dream and say, hey, you're creating a block over there? Well, I see those blocks as opportunities for, am I going to let your block make what you're attempting to do real for me? Or am I just seeing it as an opportunity for me to work around that block? Because that's what's happening. As you begin to wake up, you begin to see all of the blocks that were placed before us that took our mind and split it into so many different fragments. The church block, the government block, the how ladies behave block, that how men behave block, that how transgender behave, that how, this culture or that culture, they eat this, they eat that. So our mind has been fragmented to see everything as being separate. And those who understand the power of the mind and operate from the need to control other people's minds, clearly they're disconnected from their heart. They are the ones who are deepest in the dream and in the nightmare, and they're the ones who really need our assistance more than anybody to call them back into their truth, because that's the agreement that we all make before we incarnate. We're going to come in here, bring our light, and call everybody back into the light, because we're calling ourselves back into the light. As within, so without. There are no bad people out there. There are those characters that we projected into the dream to give us the experience, and then we call them back. That's what the hero does. We bring we bring everybody back into the fold, into oneness. So we're going to be reading more today from this section number 7, the dreamer of the dream, as we continue to learn who we are as a dreamer, so that we can begin to, what the Course calls, create a happy dream. We cannot have a happy dream without without calling forth into conversation the lies that have been told. And this is very uncomfortable for people. I know I'm in different circles, and nothing is more uncomfortable than the truth. That is exactly what is being blocked at the bigger level, at the government level, at the world stage. The truth is being blocked. As you can see, they won't share the ingredients for the jab. They don't share with complete honesty all of the adverse events, all of the deaths that are happening. They don't share what exactly is inside of these bills that they're trying to pass, and who gets the money, and who's the CEO of those companies, who runs them, who do those monies, what bank accounts do they go. If we had transparency from cause up until the effect, if we saw it transparently, number one, we would see that we've all participated in this by our acceptance of what is. Oh yeah, they're in charge. They get to tell us what to do. We have participated in the dream. So we have to see in honesty what has been going on in the darkness, because when we shine the light of awareness on what was before dark, we call it into healing. Now we can say, no, it's not okay for you to do this. In this dream, we are co-creators. We are having an experience of humans who are collaborators. We're here to, as our Constitution says, as so many documents around the world state, we're all equal in the eyes of God. So we have to remind everybody of that equality. It is our work to be an example of one who is not judging what others do, but in some ways, we're calling what is dark into the light. We have to point it out. You know, I saw that you stole money from the bank. Now, I'm not going to judge you because you're the creator of your reality, so your consequences are all yours. But do you need some money? You know, what can we do to get you that money? What is going on with you? To really question people into the realization of what else can be done. All of these people who are, you know, let me just isolate one little group, the doctors who are out there jabbing people and agreeing to be jabbed and shaming or blaming the people who don't want to get the jab. If we talk to them in integrity and said, hey, you swore an oath to do no harm. Do you realize what's in these jabs? Well, no, the pharmaceutical company told me that they're good. You trust them completely without evidence? Well, yeah, that's who educated me. That's what this process is all about. They're the ones who give us the medicines. Can I show you some results from something else? Are you willing to see that there may be another side to this? From that place, we expand people's awareness. But those doctors who are doing what they're doing, as well as anybody else who is promoting that jab, I can assure you, they are completely in fear. They are doing what they're doing out of fear that if they don't do that, they're not going to have their jobs, their income, and because they've been conditioned to believe they're not the creators of their reality. The job creates their reality. The money creates the reality that their husbands or wives and children get to experience. Everybody here on this call, I know each and every one of you, you know that what I'm saying is something you had to face in your own life and correct in your own mind, that the job, the money is not what defines you, but you were defined by it, which is why we were all attached to it. And we created these personas. We were defending our position. We were defending our country because it's the best one in the world. And we did so many things because we were unaware of our freedom internally. We're sovereign beings creating our reality. So we're in the middle of this great awakening. People are going to be rudely woken up from the dream. We have had relatively gentle awakenings, even if each and every one can tell the story of the death of a parent, the divorce, the death of a child, cancer, bankruptcy, all kinds of things. God knows I've got 4 or 5 of those in my list. And I know those of you that I coach intimately, I know you've got some of those things on your list. You had to realize that you were not those things that you lost. You were not defined by those things that you have. So right now, humanity we are shifting. There is a plan. And inside of the plan, we mature like children, as within, so without. Children go through processes of aging and maturing and growing up. Humanity is moving from a very immature stage where we give our power away. We operate like cowboys and Indians. We are bullies and victims. We're maturing to a stage where we are recognizing our equality, our sovereignty, and we're treating one another as Jesus 2,000 years taught us to treat each other. And what is going to be the result of that? We will still have houses and money and cars and jobs, but we will not be defined by them. Rather, we will use them to expand the joy for everybody on the planet. Oh, somebody got hurt and needs help. Here's a holistic doctor ready to help. And the exchange for the services will be absolutely beautiful, and everybody will feel that they're fair. Somebody needs a beautiful music so that somebody else can dance because they love to dance. Well, there's going to be a beautiful exchange between the creator of the music and getting it to those who want to dance to it. There's going to be a wonderful, beautiful exchange that is going to come about with a very clear sense of integrity between those who want to eat and those who want to grow food. We're moving to a time of collaboration. But we can't get to collaboration until we see that competition and control and conquering have been the primary 3 C's that we have operated from. And we have to see that we have given that permission to be our reality because we have believed that that's the way it is. So to see the insanity is to be very uncomfortable, because we have to experience the guilt that we're going to have when we see, oh my God, I contributed to that. Each and every one of you that I have coached through your divorces or through something traumatic, a separation of any shape or form, you know how uncomfortable it was when you had to admit, oh, that you actually contributed to that divorce. We all start off, look at what they did to me. And then we go, wait a second. We learn from seeing what we did. That's where growth happens. We never grow when we point the finger at somebody else, because that doesn't let us take responsibility for how powerful we are. Everybody else has power. Look what they did to me. We have to take our power back by acknowledging that we created the very stuff that we're taking our power back from. So I know that's a long explanation to where we're going to start now inside of this. I'm going to go back and reread. We got halfway through paragraph 6, but I want to read all of it so that we're all in the same on the same page, especially because we've got a couple of other people who were not here last week, so that we can all hear the same information, and then we will continue forward from there. But before I open that, and today I really want to make sure, thanks for writing that, Lisa, where we are in the book. Before we get going, and today I want to really ask that we keep the comments to a minimum, simply because there's a couple of paragraphs that I want to get through that will assist you in going forward with a whole different perspective. And maybe not a new perspective to you, you might have heard it, but the way I want to put these pieces together will leave you with a greater clarity of the importance of your role and your willingness to stand firm for what is happening and call the bullshit, because not to judge it and blame anybody else, but because you have got to acknowledge your part in it. Because if we don't acknowledge our part in it, we cannot see that deep down inside, there's some guilt that we carry for having created this mess that we have participated in, and we're leaving it to our children and our grandchildren. So there's major healing that can happen in this particular section that we're going to read. So before I go, is there anyone here who wants to share how maybe the conversation from last week is touching you and affecting you because you're applying the teachings of the Course in Miracles? And I'm going to get my calendar out because I want to share something with you. If you want to share something, either raise your hand or unmute yourself, please. All right, Miss Lisa.
I just want to say that by listening to these recordings, the ones that I have missed, in my own time. Sometimes when we're in the conversation, it doesn't hit me until afterwards. And I know I discussed with you in our coaching, that I had been grieving, and I thought it was the loss of my mother, but I had been grieving the realization of the loss of myself. And the loss of myself, I realized through this process that I created this dream and I can create another one. And that's been so powerful for me that I'm so grateful for you, this course, and everyone that shows up, because I awaken each time little by little. So thank you.
Listen, sweetie, it is an honor and a pleasure to work with people who are as committed as you are to digging deep. And as I've said, and I know I've said it to you, but maybe not everybody here has heard it. You hear it when we're coaching, but it was my mother's death that started my spiritual journey. And it was 2 years into her passing with out of control grieving that I began to realize that what I was really grieving was the death of me, which is why I say she gave birth to me twice, once physically and once spiritually. Her death had me be able to go inside so I could birth myself as the real me, because I had lived a life of what I thought the world wanted me to be so that they would like me. So I get it. I get it. That's a beautiful, powerful moment of realization, because that level of coming to accept, oh, I'm the one who created I'm the one who has been dead inside all these years, is where you get your power back. So thank you, sweet sister, for sharing that. So I want to share a couple of dates with you. So the Tuesday nights, Living A Course in Miracles, when we go inside and have a very different experience, it's more meditative, it's more coaching, it's more sharing, it's more building a community where we're supporting each other. That happens twice a month, on the second and the fourth Tuesdays of the month. It's on Zoom. You have to go to my website and register for that specific date, so you can get that specific Zoom link sent to you. You won't get that Zoom link if you register for the wrong date. So the two dates, 2nd and 4th, coming up in November, are the 9th and the 23rd of November. So those will be the two times we'll do it in the month of November. You can register now for those dates if you want. I mean, I love it because then I'll know ahead of time who's coming. It's only $20. And then the other date, we will meet next Wednesday here, but the following Wednesday on the 17th, I'm going to be traveling back. It was the only date that I could coordinate with my daughter so we could drive together back from Colorado with my little grandbaby. And that is the 17th of November. So we will not meet on the 17th. And then I wanted to encourage you to pay attention. There is a collective march that is taking place on November the 8th. This is where patriots, not only around the US, but around the world, are going to be marching together. I will post a flyer in our chat group so that you can see that. I highly, highly encourage anybody who wants to take a stand, because that's what it is, take a stand, coming together. We really are the majority. Truly, truly, we are the majority, but we have to get active. We have to show that we are the majority. I'm sure you watched throughout the elections, lots of incredible wins around the country. The best wins I saw were school boards around the country, were patriots, those who want to get rid of that CRT, those who want to take their school boards back, won around the country. And that is the result. Talk about a big win. That is the result of parents waking up. I did it, handed our children to the school system and said, you teach them. And we did this for two reasons. If we're all honest, we will admit the two reasons. One, we got told that the school knew better for our children than we did. And two, as parents, we were so happy to get rid of those children for 8 hours a day so we could do whatever we wanted to do, whether it was go to the job and make more money, or we had to go to the job and make money so we could support the children. But it was a relief. Oh my God, I get rid of the kids. and somebody else gets to train them because we were told that they knew what was better. Parents are waking up and seeing same two things. They don't know better, and they're indoctrinating our children with things that are not good for these innocent minds. They're what has dumbed down humanity. And the second one is, I'll give up my job. I'll face my fear of having a lesser job. I'll face my fears of telling my neighbors I'm going to have to give up my big house and move into a little shack somewhere because I am going to stay home with my children. Priorities are getting realigned. We are coming to what matters most. And when we have a child, we really enter into a covenant to help this child, who is the bringer of love and light, closer to source than we are at the point that we have them. They are the ones who are bringing in the newness that we all need. So they're coming in to teach us, and by our willingness to be with them for those 18 years of life and help them remember to stay aligned to the voice inside, that is what is going to shift us into co-creating a new earth. Because the new earth, our values are going to be very different than the old earth. The old earth, we got our value, our worth from money. That's why we've been worshiping the god of money. And when we have money, we have been taught those who have the most money have the most power. None of that is true in reality, but if we all agree to that, it becomes our agreed upon reality that we all abide by. So we're having to unplug from that matrix, come back together, get our power back, start with a new generation that is going to move us forward, and collectively, as parent and child, work together, because the ideas that these kids have are the ideas that are going to take us forward. The ideas that the government wants to put in our children's mind are the ideas that are bringing us down into the contraction, to the point that humanity is going to disappear. Because if we're not thinking exactly what they want, they don't want us here. So amazing things are happening, really, really exciting things. All right, let's just get right into this particular teaching. Paragraph number 6. Tom, I don't know if you have the book, A Course in Miracles. Oh, excellent. So if you happen to have the 3rd edition, this is going to be found in the text, which is the first book, because the course has 3 books in it. So the very first book, the text, page 582, if you are in the 3rd edition. And we are in chapter 27, and we are in section number 7. And we are now going to start reading in paragraph number 6. So the part that you play in salvaging the world from condemnation is your own escape. Whatever is placed on your heart to do, like Lisa, healing from your mother's recent passing, any one of us healing from whatever it is that has been happening, whatever you're inspired to do, whatever you're inspired to participate in, that part that you play is actually your very own escape. I had no idea when I began to receive the downloads of the power of awareness, the course, and the shift and lift process. I had no idea that I was being given the very information that was going to, if I followed it, was going to help me escape the matrix. I thought, oh, I received this great workshop. I'm going to teach it to you people. You people need this work. Well, it was for me to learn. And every teacher receives what they need to teach. Every time I coach is note to self, because everything, as the course says, is about me. When I got that, not in a selfish way, oh, I just got something for me, but rather as I share it, as I give it, I receive the deeper parts of the teaching. Because in the sharing it, it activates the frequency that unlocks the ability to feel it. Yes, you feel it when you receive it, but there's something more powerful when 2 or more are gathered to share in truth. And that's where humbleness comes in. You realize that we're all one, and that you move from hierarchy, teacher, student. Course in Miracles has taught me that the teacher is the student of what they're teaching, and what they're teaching to the student is what the teacher has learned. So all of that comes together. You cannot separate giving and receiving being one. So what you're receiving as your inspiration for what to do in this world is the path that you must follow for your own escape from the insanity of what the ego has created. So if you are on a committed to teaching people about the Constitution, as Vern is, if you're committed to helping change the laws for well-being as my sweetheart is, if you're committed to helping to change the school system, pay attention to what it is that you believe should be done, because that is exactly what you must embody. You have to be the change you're wanting to see in the world. This line is so powerful, and I cannot underestimate the need to highlight it, circle it, put stars next to it, put tags, whatever you need to do so it'll look like my book. So many notes. All right, sentence number 2. Forget not that the witness to the world of evil cannot speak except for what has seen a need for evil in the world. Let me unpack that for you, because it is powerful and very confronting. If you spot it, you got it. If you see evil out there, forget not that the witness, you, me, to the world of evil. Are we seeing evil out there? Are you seeing things that shouldn't be happening? All right, that we could not speak to that except because we saw a need for evil in the world. What that means is when we were conditioned into believing government had power, and you heard it, I grew up in the Caribbean. I grew up always hearing, oh yeah, it's a corrupt government. I was a witness to that corruption was there. Well, I must have needed corruption to help me have the journey that I had. And let me tell you, corruption really affected my family big time in ways that I've never even started sharing about here. But my mom was involved in the plot where the assassination of the dictator of the Dominican Republic back in '63, Trujillo was his name. My mother was involved in that assassination. And so I got warrior in me. And let me not even get started on my great grandmother who was involved with the liberation of Cuba, because those are some amazing stories of women packing guns and being the ones who funded. My great grandmother funded the liberation of Cuba, and everybody knew, don't mess with her. That woman rode a horse and packed, her weapons really close to her. All of us have that warrior in us. I needed to have that corruption in my life, just as my grandmother needed it so that she could do her part, my great grandmother, so she could play her part. My mother was able to find strength and power inside of her because she voiced against evil. She took a stand against evil. I am getting ready to see not getting ready. I am seeing very clearly that I needed to place in front of me things that I would be called into standing up to. So now that I am very clear, I put it there so that I could prove to me how powerful I am. That's what shifts us from being a victim to something out there to, wait a second, as the Course tells us, everything is a lesson God would have me learn. And when you realize that you and God are one, everything is a lesson I would have me learn. Why did I needed to learn this lesson? That's what we need to understand. What you're looking to correct is your escape from what happened. But notice that if you call it evil out there, you're not acknowledging the power that you're gaining from it in here. You see what's happening to America? All over the not just America, but all over the world, people are getting their voice back. The evil that we have helped us lose our voice. Now our desire to escape the evil helps us find our voice. We needed it to play a role that now we are transcending. It's what makes the movie fun. It's what makes life, the ups and the downs, exciting when we play in the 3D dimension. If you want to go to the 5D dimension where everything is love, joy, and peace, it's not that it's going to be boring. It's going to be exciting beyond our imagination, because we cannot imagine a world where everybody gets along. But there's a whole new world that we're going to be projecting out there to have an experience with. It just won't have evil. The 3D world has evil because we needed it to have our hero's journey. So that line is really, really important. Though, if you spot it, you got it. You see it out there, it's in you. You're judging somebody, it's in you. Every single time you are judging, it's about you. Every single time you feel judged and you have a reaction, there's truth in there. Somebody's pointing out to something that is true that you don't want to see. Oh, they're judging me. Those are all ego ways of deflecting, seeing what we have done, because the ego is invested in us not seeing how powerful we are. Because if we claim our power, we won't operate from our disempowered self that says, everybody else did it to me. This is so exciting. All right, so sentence number 3. And this is where your guilt was first beheld. I'm going to read a little bit more. In separation from your brother was the first attack upon yourself begun. When we enter incarnation and we said, ooh, I'm going to be born to that woman, that man. I'm going to be born to that one over there that is separate from me. When we enter that birth canal, and we begin the process of separating in the body. The cells begin to separate. And when we exit the birth canal, and we come into the world of 3D separation, we literally move through the portal of one dimension into a different dimension. And we exit into the story of separation. See how metaphorical? This is also amazing. We are birthed into a new dimension. Literally, this is a dimension we descend to. We come down to the 3D world. Something that is lower cannot come up to the 3D world. We are high consciousness beings who choose to incarnate at a lower dimension to bring our love and light by looking at what's happening so we can see the evil and call ourselves into our sovereignty and activating our warrior that comes down to illuminate the path for all of us to exit this insanity. So we come in on a mission from God. It's like the Blues Brothers. We all come in on a mission from God to help liberate humanity until we get in bondage ourselves. So we see mom and dad as separate. That begins the process in separation from your brother. We got to see everybody as the same brother, sister, it's mother, father. We see ourselves separate from them, and that's when the first attack upon yourself begins. You know, the indoctrination that we have received from television. They even gave us a TV show. Our generation watched it. Father Knows Best. That is an attack upon ourselves, that Father knows better than we do. Father, mother may have been here longer, and they may know how to navigate the insanity better than we do, but they don't know better than we do because we come with direct truth that is untainted. It is innocent. It is pure. But they don't want to hear our ideas for changing the rules. They want us to conform to their rules. Why? Because their parents did it to them, everybody did it to them, and they're operating, doing the same thing, expecting a different result, which will never come. But they don't have the courage, I know I didn't, to let the children know better. And I did not encourage my children to tell me what they wanted until later on in my journey. So my first child, I told her what we needed to do because she agreed to silence part of her voice because I conditioned her to think that in the hierarchy, I was above her. Of course, now she has a child and we are working through that. And we've been working through that for a while so that we become equals. I started that about 20 years ago. She's 33 now. So around, teenage years, I started to try to equalize things, and that didn't go very well. So it really then began to be something we did when she got a little older and more mature and could see the importance of being equal. I remember having a conversation one time with her. I was shifting, and she might have been about 16 years old. And I started realizing that I needed to change my mindset when she was 14. And I said something to her one day. All right, you can figure this out. And she looked at me with tears in her eyes and a lot of anger. Mom, stop telling me that I can figure things out. I've always counted on you. You are the one who has always told me what to do, and it's always worked out for me. Now you're wanting me to do it on my own? That's not fair. What's wrong with you? And I realized, oh my God, I indoctrinated her. Wow, she really needed me to help her make decisions. Well, that used to satisfy my ego that made me self-important and the one that knew better for my daughter. Look, everybody, I'm such a great parent. But to my soul that knew she was my sister, my equal sister, my heart ached that I had disempowered her. So this is telling us right here, When you see another as having power over you, this is the first attack upon yourself. And we've got to help our little children, our little grandbabies. Don't teach them that you know better than they do. Let them know that you can teach them what you know, but it is not better than what they know. If anything, ask them what they know. And it will help expand our minds out of this contraction that is what the 3D world is. We're contracted into a very small way of thinking, very limited. So sentence number 5 says, and it is this the world bears witness to. We bear witness to the whole humanity who gave their power away through the process of hierarchy. And in the back of our mind, whether you've experienced it yet or not, like Lisa has, you experienced it, there's a little guilt. You feel guilty that you're the one who let this happen to yourself. When you come to that place of that sincere guilt, oh my goodness, I did this to myself, without blame, but I was doing it so that I could play the game of good and evil, so that I could learn the path of escape. I did it so I could have a hero's journey, and on the way, take people with me out of the insanity by just being a beacon of light. If you can accept that you did this to yourself from a place of empowerment, wow, look what a brave warrior I am. You will change the way that you continue your journey to awakening. It will no longer be about doing battle with others. It will be about you becoming the powerful master of your own reality. And when you do that for you, as I've done that and I see it now with my daughter, because I changed that, she began to see me as one who was helpful. Now she wants to know more about what I have to teach than when I was thought I was her teacher and needed to make her learn it. It's amazing how this changes when you no longer invested in forcing your opinions upon others, which is the way of the hierarchy. So let me go to the next sentence. We'll read the last couple sentences before we go to paragraph 7. We'll open this up and get some conversations going. Sentence number 6, seek not another cause. Nothing else caused your reality. Seek not another cause, nor look among the mighty legion of its witnesses for its undoing. Don't look to Buddha to undo your stuff. Don't look to me. Don't look to Jesus. Don't look to anybody else. They see what we've done, but they're showing us the way. Jesus said, I am the way. You can follow my steps. Let me tell you how to do it. And he said it back then. Those 12 apostles couldn't fully hear it. They couldn't understand. He was talking so radically, they couldn't understand. But they tried. And it wasn't until after Jesus's death that a few of the apostles began to understand the depths of his teachings. And it wasn't until future incarnations that those apostles were able to really come into their own. So don't look to somebody else to help you find the cause of your suffering. Own it, that you are that powerful. Because when we can with humbleness say, yeah, I caused a lot of suffering for a lot of people. I caused a lot of things that were really, that I can see others saw it as horrible. They don't know that whatever I did to put an obstacle in their way was a co-creation, because you can't put obstacle in people's ways if they were not participating in needing that thing in their way for their own ascension. But it's not our job to say, oh yeah, I murdered your daughter because it was good for you. That's how you were going to find Jesus when you went to jail. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to, when we realize that we place obstacle in other people's ways, we begin to acknowledge, you know what, I could have done that differently, with humbleness, because the new earth is going to be created by those who are no longer placing obstacles in other people's ways, because we've learned the lesson that we can co-create with paths that flow, like the streams of water that God has given us. They flow. We don't have to put obstacles in the way. Let me read the rest of this. Sentence number 7. They support its claim. So when we look at other things, they support its claim on your allegiance. If we blame them, you should have helped me, you should have done this for me. It supports the claim that we have that we are powerless. Somebody else has the power that we don't have. What conceals the truth is not where you should look to find the truth. That power is outside of us. You don't go to the power outside of you to give you the power that's inside of you. You don't go to the government and say, oh, you got to let me be free. You don't go to the medical establishment and say, oh, you're in charge of my well-being. No, you are free completely. Course in Miracles tells us we're not even bodies. We are non-physical energy having a temporary experience of being solid matter. Your well-being is in your mind. Your freedom is in your mind. Everything that makes us like God, one with the Father, Mother, Creator, is inside of us. Don't look for it in a savior outside of you because they will disappoint every time. They don't know your journey. They don't know what you need to heal. They can show you, as I can, steps to healing, but nobody can do it for you. Just as your personal trainer at the gym, they can't do the reps and your muscles get stronger. It's just not possible because we are here for the experience. This body is how the non-physical experiences and activates all of the senses. We're here to feel, touch, smell, see, hear. We're here to have those experiences. But we've been desensitized from feeling life fully because we've been conditioned, indoctrinated into giving our power away by choice. If you incarnate it, it's a choice. To come to Crazy Planet, it's a choice. And we are here to reclaim our power, get away from all of these low density foods and drugs and substances that we take that have numbed us. And they've numbed us because there's so much suffering in between our ears. We're suffering because we're not connected to our power. And we see, those of us who are becoming more sensitized, we see the suffering out there. But that is their lessons. And for us to want to take their lessons away is to assume hierarchy. I know better than you do. Father knows best. So we're walking a fine line of coming into equality, turning our light on and being a beacon that shows the way to others, not by judging that they're not doing it right or that they're doing it wrong, but rather by being the change we want to see in the world. And we then connect, as we're doing in these groups. We connect, we share with each other. Oh, there's a community getting built over there that they have medical assistance and they do it in a holistic way. They do it in a 5D way. Wonderful. That's where people are going to go for healing that are of a high frequency. People who are looking for healing of a low frequency, they're gravitating towards the old schools or towards the old hospitals and the old doctors. That's going to happen. We are bifurcating. We have seen a line right here. And where is courage? Right there. Courage is right in the middle. Those who have the courage to want to find power inside of them and see it in everybody else, we're moving and collecting. In time, you're going to see it. The communities are going to be very clear. Now we call them red or blue states. Soon it's going to be freedom seekers who have unbelievable, unshakable faith. And those who need safety, those who need control, those who need to be told what to do. There is nothing wrong with that. We are powerful creators. We are moving towards the next stage of our experience. I just want to experience life fun and easy. Some people still need to experience life in bondage. They haven't found that the evil ones that are in their experience are their path to escape. They're still believing that the evil ones are their protectors because there's an inversion of the truth that happens when the ego takes control. And we have to get really clear until we see everything as neutral. It's energy dancing. Like the ocean, there's not the big wave is not a bad wave. Look at the surfers, they play on it. Everything is consciousness expressing itself. What we call evil is just an absence of seeing it with light. What we call beautiful is just the light is shining on what is possible, and that's what we refer to as love. And love embraces everything, including that which is dark, because it knows I've got to embrace it so that it can find its way back home. So let me stop right here, and then we will go into paragraph number 7. I think I can get part of 7 in. It's so much to share. All right, if anybody has any thoughts, comments, or questions, keep them really short so that we can get into more of this, because this is so jam-packed with yumminess. And yeah, this is a long section. It's got 16 paragraphs, and we are at 6. How exciting is that? Such a great conversation for weeks to come. If anybody has anything you want to share, that anything here touched you or want clarification, just raise your hand. If not, I'll just keep going. All right, I'll take a drink of water.
Laina, I do have one question.
Yes,
Would you
Tom.
consider the bifurcation between green and blue like a break?
Mhm.
Where, okay.
A break, that's not a break. So in consciousness, there is no break, there is no separation, but it's almost like we were one human cell that is dividing into 2 cells. But it's all happening inside of the oneness. So some want to experience higher frequency, some want to stay in the density. And we have the option to do that. So it's an intelligent plan. Those who want to go on that ride in the what I call this planet amusement park, those who want to go on the scary ride, they're buying a new ticket. Those who want to go to the Love Canal, we're buying a ticket for that, but we're all inside of the same adventure park. All right, so paragraph number 7. The witnesses to sin all stand within one little space. Who are the witnesses to the sinful things? We are the ones that see it. We are the witnesses to it. And it is here that you find the cause of your perspective of the world. When you spot it, you got it. When you can begin to see what is sinful out there and call it sinful, you are making that real. Yes, see, bad people exist. As opposed to, no, you are holy beings. You are just as good as I am. You are just as holy as I am, but your behavior is unkind. You know, what you're doing is hurting people. And the reminder of their goodness is what Jesus came to teach us. I'm not going to judge the person hammering a nail in my hand. You're innocent. I forgive you. You don't know what you're doing. You're doing what you're doing, putting that nail in my hand, because you got indoctrinated into believing that there's a hierarchy and the Roman emperor or whoever is higher than me. And they're telling you, and you think you're higher than me, that you're supposed to do this because it's your job. And if you want to feed your family, if you don't want to get crucified yourself for not following orders, I have no issues with you. I have no issues with them. We're all non-physical, eternal anyways. This is all a dream. I'm not a body. I'm going to resurrect my body, because what I am, the body of Christ, is the Christ consciousness that is in all of you. So we have to learn to accept that we are the Christ consciousness. We are the second coming of the Christ. Each time we accept how powerful we are, that's why we can't look at sin and say that sin and it's bad and it's out there. We have got to recognize that that is a holy being playing a role that I needed to play so that I could find my escape out of this illusion. That's what we don't want. And the way to not have that is you go and run for office, and you become the new school board person that shows another way. Not to go judge the school board person who did it the old way, but rather to be the change we want to see in the world. And more are being attracted to that frequency, and the school board people that want to do it the other way, they're going to run in another district. They'll move to be in a district that allows them to do that. And they play the game they want to, and we play the game we want to. And everybody's going to be, happy in our own way. Because believe it or not, everybody who is in victim mode, they may not be aware of it. That's exactly what they want to experience, because that is how they're going to get their lessons. They may not see it that way because they're unconscious, but they wouldn't be there as powerful creators as the cause of our experience if at some level deep down inside they didn't actually want to be there. I know it's hard to believe, but if you don't believe that and trust that that is so about everybody, you won't see how powerful we are. All right. Okay, so the witnesses of sin all stand within one little place, and it is here that you find the cause of your perspective of the world. We perceive the world as having power. Look, the bad people are outside of me. Once you were unaware of what the cause of everything the world appeared to thrust upon you, uninvited and unasked must really be. I had no idea. I was completely unaware that I was giving power outside of me. Of one thing, you were sure. Of all the many causes you perceived as bringing pain and suffering to you, your guilt was not among them. While I was busy blaming you, look what you did to me, boss, president, teacher, husband, whatever. I never ever imagined that one day I would have to face the guilt of what I had created. Never, that never entered my mind. If they're the guilty ones, I didn't see, oh no, wait, I created this. So we all have to face that little moment in time that takes an incredible amount of courage. And notice courage is right above pride. You have to move beyond the pride of being right to the courage of saying, if I'm a powerful creator, there is guilt in me that I created so much suffering. And the recognition of the guilt is the acknowledgement of your ability to choose another way. I feel guilty that I used my power to create this. Now I forgive myself. I move into neutrality. Am I willing to accept my power and now use it to co-create from love instead of fear? It's all that it is. While we believe we have nothing to be guilty, I didn't create this, we cannot own the fullness of our power. Intellectually, we say, yes, I'm the creator of my own reality. We've seen that with a lot of our spiritual friends. We see that with a lot of Christian people. Yes, I'm powerful. But until we accept that we used our power to create disempowerment, we do not fully understand the power that we have. Because it is an acceptance that we block the light, that we cause the effect of evil, that we see how magnificently, amazingly massive our power is. We create it all. So instead of judging that and wanting to change that, acknowledge that you are the cause of it, forgive yourself for having participated. How many of us, and you don't have to raise your hand, how many of us have lied and cheated and blamed and judged and acted horrendously and were terrible to people? Thank you, Tom. Yes, I've done that. I've done that. And I don't sit and compare, well, I did it a little less than another person did it. Thank you, Latanya and Lisa. I no longer compare. Mine was worse than another. However, in the acceptance that I have the ability to do that, I realized, oh my God, if I have that much power, how can I put it in service to humanity? That takes an incredible amount of courage. But our guilt of how we used our power is a powerful place that we all must enter. Latanya, did you want to say something? Oh, you raised that. You lowered your hand. All right. So one thing you can be sure is that of all of the causes, your guilt was not one that you were ready prepared to see. So sentence number 5, nor did you in any way request them for yourself. Nope, we didn't think we requested this horrible stuff. This is how all illusions came about. Underline that sentence and highlight the word all. I'm going to tell you why. This is how all illusions came about. The one who makes them does not see himself as making them, and their reality does not depend on him. If we don't see that all illusions are created in the same way, we all create illusions by believing there's power outside of us. Oh, mom and dad have power over me, therefore I have power over my child. All illusions are made because we are using our power, not realizing that our power has two sides of the same coin, shining the light or blocking the light, love or fear, the expansion of that which is good or the contraction which makes it feel bad. Every illusion is created the exact same way. All of them are. A belief in the mind that what is out there is not my responsibility or my projection. And when we see, whoa, yes, I projected it. Oh my God, I projected the wars? Yep, I did. Did I fund them? Did I send money? Did I let my tax dollars go to that? Yep, I did. I'm part of that. Okay, we all are. All right, no need beating myself up. I participated in it. Now I realize all illusions get made because we participate in things that we had no idea we were participating in because we were unaware, unconscious, and we were little sheep just grazing on the land. Oh, mommy, daddy, give me the food that I need. Oh, government, give me the allowances that I need. Oh, boss, give me the raise that I need. Very few of us, for many, 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 many thousands of years, were willing to step up and do what needed to be done to stand out and become a leader that leads the flock out of this insanity. But we cannot make the flock leave if the flock doesn't want to do that. Soon, because the noose is getting so tight upon the necks of the flock, soon they're going to see that there's another way. For some, it may be too late in 3D form. They may have to die and lose their bodies. But the minute they cross the veil, they'll go, oh my gosh, look at that insanity. I want to reincarnate now and play with the people in this game. This bifurcation, that group is going to be relatively small in comparison to all of humanity. And through the incarnations, it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Why? Because God does not intend to get stuck in one tiny way of expressing itself when it is nothing more than the energy of infinite possibilities. There are too many ideas in God to keep repeating the same old warring patterns of conquering and competition and control. That's boring. That's why we don't want to keep doing this, because it's freaking boring. So the next sentence number 8. Whatever cause they have is something quite apart from him, the illusions. And what he sees is separate from his mind. Oh, it's out there, it's not in here. He cannot doubt his dreams' reality because he does not see the part he plays in making them and making them seem real. Perfect example today. Let me do a quick little drawing. Let me find a dark marker. So here we are, depending, I'll just say, let me see. So when we start as children, we project power on mom and dad. Oh, they're the powerful ones out there. As we get denser and we begin to give our power away, then it's not just mom and dad, then it's the government and it's the boss and it's money. And then we become very attached to that becoming the thing that we need to be happy. We get really dense. We lower ourselves in color. We go down in color. Don't use those colors to match this because these little people only come in this color. So light, being the yellow down to dark being the red, it's not the same as what's over here. So when we densify ourselves, we then become attached. I need mom and dad's approval. I need the government's approval. I need the boss's approval. I need money to be okay. The doctor, I need the doctor to be okay. I need my children to validate me. And what happens is when we become tethered to the outside having power over me, some of us get really dark and we want to be the ones on that side. We just want to be the ones who are in control of all these people who gave up their power. This happens over thousands of years. You get promoted to this job and you start off green. We're all green when we start, our jobs. We're green. We don't know anything about anything. Little by little, we get a little darker and we get a little darker, and eventually we sell our soul to the outside. We let money, the institutions, the degrees, that begins to be our source. And we little by little disappear into this world of evil, of pure evil. And when we try to come back out, that side says, well, we're going to shoot your family. Well, you're attached to them. You don't want them to get killed. So then you'll do whatever they tell you. Well, we took a picture of you. Remember, you were so hungry for power and money. Well, we got you all drunk and we took compromising pictures. So now we got stuff on you. You're not leaving us. And little by little, many, many really good people have gotten stuck over here as the CEOs, as the doctors, as the bosses that are the minions for a very small group of people who understand the power of the mind, but they do not understand the power of love. They're not going to give up what they believe in their mind they have power over until we begin the process of doing the work, being willing to let that job go, being willing to let that money go, being willing to, let the body go. You want to shoot me? That's okay. I'm not going to do this job. And as we come closer and closer to doing our inner work, little by little, we begin to lighten up. We begin to reclaim our innocence. And, at some point, we untether ourselves completely and we begin to release that any of these things have power over us. And the way that we begin to untether ourselves and free our souls is by coming back to accepting that we are the cause of what gave that power. It happened in our mind. Believing that I knew better than my child happened in my mind. It didn't happen in my toe. It wasn't my hair that made me think that I was more powerful. It happened in my mind. I believed that because mom and dad modeled that for me. Government, doctors, teachers, they have no more power than anybody else. They are creators of their own reality. If you buy into their reality and you get stuck in it, it's by your choice, because you and I have the same power to say, no, I'm untethered from your reality. I am creating one, and I'll play with the people who want to play on this side, and you play with the people who may want to still play on your side. It's okay. Bifurcation requires that everybody who comes over give up attachments. You and I know very well, giving up attachments is very difficult. The only thing that causes us to give up attachments is an incredible desire for freedom. Many of us will not want that freedom as much for ourselves, but many of us will want it for our children, because we have that parental thing so ingrained that we are the protectors of our children. And even if it's the belief that I'm responsible for my child, that's enough to cause some parents to want to shift and begin the process of letting go of their jobs and letting go of their money, their communities, their churches of worship because they're seeing what's happening. So bless the evil because the evil is causing people to wake up. We needed those players. They had to play that role. How else would we see that we don't like that movie? We don't want to go back into that movie. You don't know that you don't like something until you taste it and realize I don't like it. Contrast is part of the 3D planet. The 5D world that we are co-creating doesn't need contrast. We have the maturity to now know, I don't want to say better, not as in better as in hierarchy, but now we know what we like. If you don't like killing, you don't have to keep incarnating to kill to find out that you don't like killing. You did it, you're done with it. Enough incarnations. I am sure that I can take anybody here, any one of us, and there's something that we are done with. I can promise you, we can do past life regressions and we'll see we've done it multiple times. Done. You don't even need to explain it to anybody. You just know you're done. Done with eating meat. That happened to me. It's like all of a sudden, done. Done with hurting animals. Done. Hard to kill a bug around here. My sweetie has to take those bugs and catch them and take them outside because we don't want to kill them. So a lot of things happen that you draw a line. And when you draw the line, you got to pick a side. For a very long time, we have straddled the line. I know I did for a long time. Had one foot in the world of the ego, one foot in the world of God. At some point, you've got to cross the line. You've got to do it. You do it for you because you're willing to cause for yourself a new reality. We're banding together, those of us who want to cause with love and not fear. Co-create from that place. It's happening. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Course in Miracles just wants us to understand the way the mind works. If you don't understand the trickery of the ego, it's very difficult to come out of the maze of thoughts and beliefs and righteousness that exists in the mind. Very difficult to get out of that place. We are in a wonderful, wonderful opportunity right now. And the hardest thing that any of us is going to face is being honest about that which has been ugly and evil and lies, selfishness, greed that has been in hiding. We've got to bring it out into the surface, not to shame people, even though if you're in a lower consciousness, some people are going to shame, the pitchforks are coming. You know, some people are going to want to kill and revenge on those that they believe hurt them. That's part of the journey. I did my turn in revenge and guilt and shame. Some of us are going to hold a higher consciousness of forgiveness because we're going to see everybody as a powerful creator playing a role that was necessary. And we're going to move to the place of using our time to co-create what we want, more so than trying to dismantle what we don't want. Because when your attention shifts to what you want to co-create, if you're busy here, and I don't have all my little people, let me grab my bag and get a few. If we band together over here and we get busy doing what we want to do over here, we are going to see that many are going to be attracted. This is irresistible. To be in freedom is irresistible, confronting, but irresistible to those who are beginning to see the bondage that they're in. There are a lot of family members that are realizing, I know I've got a couple of clients who are the only ones in their families that did not get jabbed, and the other people got sick, and they were like, you're conspiracy theorists saying that this is, because of the jab, it's not so. And little by little, as the months go by, each time they go get another shot, another booster, they got worse and needed surgeries. And they're starting to realize, oh my God, there's something going on here. You've stayed healthy this whole time. And actually, one particular client, he has so many things going on. His immune system is so compromised, he can hardly leave the house. He's the healthiest one in the bunch of the rest who got jabbed. 4 other members got jabbed. Every one of them has been to the hospital multiple times, one for several surgeries. And they're all now going, wait a second. One crossed the line and said, I thought you were crazy, but I'm feeling it in my heart. It was that stuff and that jab that made me feel sick. He's standing over here, not judging them. He's just sharing information, standing firm. I'm not going to take it. One crossed over. One shifted from blue to green. The rest are over there. He doesn't have to tell them you did something wrong. They're watching him. He's the light of the world. That's what we are here to do. Live your best life. And when you are inspired in how to escape from this illusion, what inspires you to escape is what you are here to do and share with others. If it's in your heart, make it available to others. If it's helping you, make it available to others. I don't know, I'm sure you've noticed lots of people right now have created free websites with all kinds of information, putting out videos. This is, attorneys saying, here are the documents, download them, they're for free. When in the world have we ever seen more people giving their talents, doctors who say, come, for free, let me tell you what to do to cleanse your body, or for a very minimal amount. I don't need your insurance. Come on over. Just, here's the medication, buy that. I can't, because, I'm not going to be gifting you the medication. Some are, but at least you buy the medication, but I'll tell you the protocol to use. Happening the world over, because people are coming together, moving out of greed into grace, moving out of me into we. It is happening. And why is it happening? Because what we are is really one that is beginning to remember the truth of who we are. And the way that we return to oneness is by acknowledging that we chose to believe in two-ness. We chose to believe in separation. Didn't make it real, except in our own mind, projected it out there. We're taking the projection out, realizing that we are the projector, cleaning up the movie that we want to see. And now we're going to project something that is beautiful for all. Why? Because it's more fun. It just feels better. No need to judge. This gave us an opportunity to have an experience. Time to move to where we want to go. They will follow. Now they're going to start following, because it's going to become quite evident that it wasn't conspiracy. The truth is coming out. Live your best life, and it's all going to work out. I know that it is so, as we've never left the place where we've always been safe in the mind of God. That's my story for today, and I'm sticking to it. Let's unmute, and I want to hear from you. Any nuggets that you got from this conversation? Tom, are you glad you joined us today? I see Yuri, you're back. You keep coming back, so you must enjoy this. So everybody unmute yourself. Tom, what you think?
I'm floored. You've invited me over the last 3 months to this multiple times, and it's amazing everything you talked about today. It's like higher self said, drop in now. Start learning from this point and just soak it up. It resonates deeply.
Well, this was just the time for you to come. That's why we all have to invite, and whoever comes when they come. And the days of, oh my God, I invited him, I'm not going to invite him again. Those days are over. You open the door and they come when they come. It's not up to me. It's up to God and each person to remember, vibrate in here when they're supposed to. But obviously in this setting, I can share such a broad, big picture thing that in coaching, I can only talk about what's happening there. Let's see what, Lisa, you just shared something. I love your story, and I'm glad you're sticking to it. Have to run. Go have fun teaching those little children. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being here. Yes, Miss Latanya.
I love these lessons because it does serve as like a guide and also a mirror for me. As far as the judgment is concerned, that's anything. I'm still learning. It's not like I'm a professional and letting go your ego. I mean, I'm still learning. So I love these lessons because it also makes me look at myself to see what I'm doing. Okay, I need to stop that. So I appreciate what you're doing. I really do.
Well, thank you, because it's amazing, when I share something that can touch you, you're going to share it with others. You know, you impact people that I don't. Just as Jesus shared it with us and said, greater works you will do. So I can reach, you know, some people that Jesus couldn't. You'll reach some people that I can't. And the people that you reach will reach others that you will never be able to touch. So this is how we work. We were here to help one another. But if you like these videos, please share them. Don't be embarrassed to put these things on your Facebook page and your social media, or in a message or in a text to somebody, and share what it is that you're getting out of this, because how else are people going to know the messages of what's available if we don't share what's available? Thank you so much, LaTanya, for being here. All right, anybody else? Unmute yourselves and then we'll call it a day.
Hey, Laina,
yes,
it's
Kat.
Yuri.
Hey, Yuri. And then we'll go to
Hey
Kat.
there.
Yes, Yuri.
I just want to thank you for offering this. This has been quite a blessing for me, and I'm going to keep coming back.
Thank you. Thank you,
Very
brother. Thank you. Thank you. Your presence is such a gift to me. Yes, Miss Kat. Thank you.
Well, I'll echo what everybody said. I'm so deeply grateful to the course and to you, and that the universe sent you. I just think I just so appreciate you. I don't even have all the right words yet. In my heart, I'm just so grateful, and I find myself. I've been on the journey a long time. So it's still important. It's like stepping into a warm, fuzzy environment that just nurtures me. So, but I'm going to ask you a quick question. You mentioned a mass gathering. Was that November 8th, next Monday?
Mm-hmm. I'll send out a link inside of our chat groups. It's a poster, or it's not a link, it's a poster. And on the poster, November 8th through the 11th, actually, it's Veterans Day. It's a protest the mandates. Let me send that to, I sent it to one group. I've got a couple of, you guys are in two separate groups because of the size of the groups. All right, so I just sent it out. Yeah, it's amazing. What is happening is absolutely amazing. People are coming together and realizing that we deserve, number one, we deserve freedom. Most people are starting off by, you don't tell me what to do. You know, it's activating our inner two-year saying, no, I do it all by myself. But that's important, because we're activating that inner child. We must become like little children to enter the kingdom, which means to enter the kingdom that's within. We've got to come back inside and say, my voice matters. I deserve to get what I want. So that activation of no, I don't want that, is necessary to bring us to the place that we then say, well, what do I want instead? If I don't want to be told what to do, what do I want instead? Well, I want to speak my voice. I want to do it my way. So it's exciting. It's exciting. Thank you so much for that. Ms. Lawana, good to see you.
Hey, I've been here. I just haven't had my video on, busy. But yeah, it's so much going on. I feel the energies. I just feel so much uprising of all like you're talking about. And your lessons help to kind of calm me down a little bit because I feel it's so much energy the past few days. It's been like, wow, because I can feel the collective really shifting, but I get kind of anxious and wired. And you really help to just kind of ground me and, bring me back to balance and, centered. So thank you.
So I want to correct that. I don't help center you. You are internally deciding that there is peace within you rather access. I just share the words that you give yourself permission to trust as possible, and that peace is emanating because you're choosing to see what's happening through the lens of what I'm sharing as opposed to through the lens of what your ego wants you to see.
Okay. Okay.
You're the
Okay.
creator of your reality.
Well, thank you for being a part of it.
Well, I'm excited. Thank you all so much. And seriously, share these if they're touchy. Put them out there. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to anybody. But my goodness, let's spread the word. Thank you all so much for being here. And next week we will pick up in paragraph number 8. This one has taken a while, but Kat, you must be impressed. And Dondra, remember in our Course in Miracles classes at Unity, sometimes we will only get through one line the whole night, one sentence or 2 sentences. We're moving through 2 paragraphs here.
Yay!
Yay, moving at the speed of lightning here because, you know, the world needs the truth faster. 2 paragraphs instead of 2 sentences.
Yeah.
Tom, thanks for joining us. This is so delightful. So good to see you, Latanya and
Thank
Dondra.
you.
Nice to have you there. All right, see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.